You guys know me. I love myself a good pop socket. And I'm pretty excited they came out with a pop socket battery combo. But the question is this battery bank any good? Now to find out what this year's best Qi2 wireless battery pack is, I bought 20 plus of them, tortured the USB-C port, melted my iPhone by doing wireless charging sprints, reviewer, not influencer, and also had to figure out how to do some coding in order to drain the packs in iPhone consistently. This is a 5000 milliamp hour, 19.3 watt hour battery pack. Now the maximum wireless output is 15 watts, but I don't know if it's Qi2. None of the packaging says that it's Qi2. And other brands will have Qi2 in the middle of the charging area, but this thing just has the PopSocket logo. This thing has one USB-C port and the battery indicators are multicolored, which is kind of a nice change. It's red and blue. This battery pack's dead, so you can't see it, but yeah, trust me. Now in terms of voltage stability and accuracy, this thing is very, very mid. Now on the back of the specs, it doesn't say it has PPS protocols, but it does, and they are not great in terms of voltage accuracy and stability. Now my real world capacity testing, I discovered that heat's an issue. This pack would always hit 50 degrees and then fall back to 5 volts. On average, I pulled 11.9 watt hours from the pack, which I thought was low, but when compared to the other 5K packs in my test group, that's actually quite high. Now when it came to recharging, this thing was brutal. Max input for this bank is 10 watts, so it's super slow to begin with. Add in real world conditions and it takes over 3 hours to fill this thing up with 22.4 watt hours. Now to get 11.9 watt hours from the bank, we have to put in 22.4. That's an efficiency rate of about 53%, which is below average. I finally tested all the battery banks and the average sits at 61%. This is the next product I'm reviewing, and this thing's almost 15% higher than this in terms of efficiency. Now when it comes to wireless charging, this thing gave me 15% or 2.1 watt hours in 30 minutes. That's one of the reasons why I think it's not an actual Qi2 power bank, because it's so slow. But to give my iPhone 2.1 watt hours, it spent 2.5 watt hours. So that equates to an efficiency of 89%, but that's a bit of a red flag for me. That's the average across several tests. So it's very high, but it just doesn't really sit right with me, but I have no additional answers right now. In terms of heat, whoa, it looks hot. Wireless charging hit 56 degrees. Now this product runs very hot, and I think there's a reason for it because PopSocket needed this battery pack to be very, very svelte, very, very thin in order for you to use it with your device relatively well. So they kind of had to give up on some of the thermal stuff is my guess. Through all my testing, this thing consistently throttles at 50 degrees Celsius. In all my discharge testing, it would always hit that and then it would just throttle down. Now when it comes to weight, this thing weighs 131.8 grams. It's the lightest in my test group. Even so, like using your iPhone with this battery pack you will notice how heavy your phone gets. In terms of magnetic connection, it takes a higher than average 10 newtons to push it off, and it takes a whopping 34.2 newtons to pull it off. So even with my big iPhone, I'm not too worried about my iPhone falling off. So that's good. Oddly enough though, this next battery pack that I'm reviewing, this one has stronger magnetic connections than this PopSocket, and it doesn't have the pop sockets. In terms of price and value, this thing's going to set you back $40, which is a steal of a deal. Would I get it if I wasn't a reviewer? Yeah. Comes with a pop socket. That's pretty much the only reason why I'd get it. Performance of this product is barely mid, but the fact that it comes with a pop socket is a big sell for me because it just makes my device more usable. I used it on my trip about a few weeks ago. This was very handy when I just needed an extra bump of power and still be able to, use it with the pop socket. So it's handy in that manner. This isn't we'll say a go-to heavy duty workhorse from my perspective. This is just if you need a few hours of extra power and you don't mind carrying around that extra weight and still want to use a pop socket. I'm almost done reviewing all these battery banks. It's been several weeks and I'm getting tired of talking and saying Qi2. If you are planning on getting this product, if this product does make it in the top 5, I'm sure it's going to be in the top 10. Make sure you use my links. I'm a reviewer, not an influencer. PopSocket's not paying me to make this video. I just want to figure out what the best accessories for our tech is. Thanks for watching.